And the fact is this: God's plan for our lives is impossible. You see, I'm amazed at how often we try to ignore and pretend that Jesus didn't say what he said. And here was, by the way, this was the God that created the universe, knitted the universe, made the universe. This is wisdom himself, and yet we choose not to listen to Jesus. We try to ignore what he says, even though he's always the smartest guy in the room. He's always the wisest guy in the room. He's always the most experienced guy in the room, but we won't listen. We'll listen to Jason over we listen to Jesus. Because here's what Jesus said. He tells us God's plan for our life. Jesus says in Matthew 5:48, Christians are to be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. I know you're awesome. That seems to be a little bit more than you can handle. I know you're great. That seems to be a little bit more than you can do on your own. Now, some of you are, you're pseudo scholars. You think, man, I know my Bible. I've read my Bible. And that word perfect, it really doesn't mean perfect. It means complete and mature. Okay, let's take your word. Let's take your definition. Are you complete and mature all the time? Well, let me ask you this. What about God's plan for your enemies? God's plan for your enemies is this. If you're writing notes, write this down. His plan for your enemies is the first time they sin against you, you overlook it. The second time they sin against you, you forgive it. The third time they sin against you, you are to confront it. The next time, you're to do good to them. And all the while, you're to be praying against. And you got to do all of this and be angry and sin not. You think, Randy, that's impossible. Right. God's plan for our lives is impossible.